I have some ranunculus corms that I pre-sprouted, or I started the pre-sprouting process a week and 3 days ago. If you include, yeah, a week and 3 days, 2 days ago. So today's Wednesday. I started them a week ago Monday. So however many days that counts out to be. And they are sprouted. So let me show you. So what I did is I took ranunculus corms, and I will show you what they look like before this in a moment. But basically you take them, you soak them in water that's room temperature water for 3 to 4 hours. And every so often go by and kind of just stir the water around, make sure that it's not getting too depleted of oxygen, just to create some movement. And then I put them in kind of a I don't know, it's probably an inch or so high of potting soil that I very lightly moistened. And actually, if it's a brand new bag of potting soil, just the regular kind, not seed or starting mix, it probably is already moist enough. And then place the corms on a thin layer, I don't know, about a ½ inch deep layer of potting soil, and then covered them up very lightly. I then put something over top that I could lay a magazine on top of, just to kind of put them in a darker place, and left them sit. Well, I used a spray bottle to just lightly moisten the top layer of the dirt, because you don't want it too wet or they will rot. I had a couple rot in the first one that I tried of doing this, where I had 6 corms, 2 of 3 different colors, and 2 of them just did not do well. They just got kind of mushy and never sprouted. So, and of course they were 2 of the same color. This is a set that I got from Easy to Grow. No, I take it back. I got these from Eden Brothers, and it's a mixed set. There are 16 corms. There were supposed to be 20, but the company made that right. Stuff happens. It's no big deal. So there's 16 that I put in here. Oops, sorry. And it's the Secret Garden Blend. So I have no idea for sure what color each of these are. So that'll be a nice, fun surprise when they start blooming. But as you can see, what I'm looking for is that they have started to grow these little baby white hairs and just barely have a little bit of a sprout. And I wouldn't even needed to have waited this long. As soon as I could see that they were starting to get some of these little baby hairs, I could have taken these out and potted them up into a pot that'll give them room to grow until I can plant them outside, until it's safe. My goal with these and the other 4 that I have going is to be able to put them as some porch pots for an early spring burst of color. And then I've got some more that I'm holding back to start a little bit later, to have them be able to go out in flower beds, or maybe a cut flower garden if I can figure out a good place for that. So let me show you what they look like. So when I shake the dirt off, you can see that they've got little hairs coming off. Those are roots. So these are ready to be put into a pot with some potting soil. And the ones that I did before, a couple weeks ago, have already grown to a pretty significant size, I think, for only it being a couple weeks. But let me show you what they look like before they're soaked and pre-sprouted. Then we'll pot these up, and then I'll show you some that were planted from this stage just a couple weeks ago, and how much they've grown. So this is what a corm looks like before it's been soaked. You can see that it looks very dried up. It looks like it's dead. These that I got, this one is from a collection that I got from Easy to Grow, from that website, and they were significantly bigger than the ones I got from Eden Brothers. I don't know if that matters. Obviously, these ones from Eden Brothers are sprouting very nicely, but you can see that even though this has plumped up from being soaked and sitting in the potting soil for 8 or 10 days, it is still much smaller. But what happens when you soak these is they do kind of plump up, and then they're ready to be, actually you could just soak and then put them out in the ground if it's the appropriate time to plant, which is not the case here where I live in Ohio. That's why I said these are going to be for porch pots where I can protect them if we would have a freeze situation once I put them outside. So these are sprouted and ready to go in pots, so let's get that done. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just put a little bit of dirt, or excuse me, potting soil in the bottom of the pots. These are pots that I got some annuals in, so they're about a quart size. Excuse me, they may be a little bit bigger than I really need, but I'd rather them have plenty of room in case I can't get them potted up or put them out into the bigger planter pots or outside in the ground. I'd rather they have more room here than to have to move them up a pot size again. I'm just going to put about a handful in here. I'll speed this part up in a second. So basically that's what goes in there first. I'm not really wetting this right now because I will give these a good drink after I get everything in here, because I don't want these to be too wet and start to rot. I think it needs just a little bit more. I want it to have a good 3 inches or so of root space. I'll tuck those little hair roots down in there, and then we'll cover it up with some soil after I get the rest of these done. So let's speed this up. Okay, so I've got everybody in a little pot, and I've left about 2 or 3 inches from the top to put some soil over it, but also that gives me then a good 2.5, 3 inches, I think, of soil for them to put in some good root growth and get real well developed before I would put them into the planter pots. All of this dirt that I was pre-sprouting them in is what I'm going to reuse here first to, I found one that was, this might have been from the first time. I must have left it in the corner of the thing and it's all smooshed up. So here you can see one from the last time. It just never sprouted and it just looks junky. So we're going to just throw this guy away. Anyways, what I was saying is I'm going to use this dirt first to put a light layer over top of all of the sprouted corms, because it still has a little bit of moisture in it, and I'll tamp that down just a little bit, and then I'll, if I need to, add a little more from my bag of potting soil, and then I'll water everything in. So we'll speed it back up. Okay, so I've got everybody all done. I've left just a little bit of room at the top here so that when I water, I don't have to worry about if it gets, if I wait a little bit between waterings and it gets a little bit crusty on the top. Obviously you don't really want that, but sometimes it happens. I can not have to worry about water going outside of the pot. It'll have this little lip here to keep the water in and let it soak down into the plant. So I'm not pressing down on the dirt super hard, but I do want to make sure that it is not loose. And then I will also add a thin layer of vermiculite on the top of all these. So let me go get that. All right, so I've got my vermiculite, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top. I've put 8 per tray just to be able to carry these back in the house and have them kind of stay together. I'm going to set them for the moment, I think, in front of a sunny window and see how they do until I can reconfigure my current seed starting setup where I've got some lights. But I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on the top. This is going to help control things like algae. It'll help keep moisture consistent, and it doesn't hurt anything. So I have started doing this on just about anything that I'm starting. From what I have read and researched, even things, if you're starting seeds that need light to germinate, this allows enough light for that to happen, but helps control all of those other things more than if you didn't have them. So there we go, potting up some ranunculus that I have pre-sprouted. And oh, hang on, let me show you what the other ones look like and what these will hopefully all look like in just a couple of weeks. So here are the 4 ranunculus that I started pre-sprouted, I guess about 4 or so weeks ago, not sure exactly. And then this is what they look like now. And they've all put on a ton of growth. They all have several leaves. This one in particular has a ton of stalks. This is all with just one corm. So I am super excited to see how these do. I'm gonna just have these, I think, also in front of the sunny window for now. They've had a couple of weeks underneath the grow lights, and see how they do here now with just some sunshine. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining me in Aunt Susan's garden. Please subscribe if you'd like to be notified of when I post more things.